Welcome to the Saints Happy Hour podcast, featuring Dave Cariello, Andrew Juge, Ralph Malbrough, and, when he decides to show up, Kevin Held. We are the perfect blend of Saints sincerity and stupidity.
I actually, for the last 2 years, have been reading the Banana Meter audio board completely wrong in every possible way.
Oh, Dave, you there? You're just laughing. Yeah.
That sounds about right.
And now, here's your host, Ralph Malbrough.
All right, everybody, welcome to a special pre-Mardi Gras edition of the Saints Happy Hour podcast. So nice of you to join us as we just continue to inch closer to free agency where the Saints will actually have news. But they did have news, and I just want to thank you people, all the patrons. You donate, you make us able to do great things like this. We have reporters now, we have sources, and we got Drew Brees' phone call to the Saints when he announced he was coming back. We have the audio exclusive, mostly because Andrew knows people. Andrew, I'm super excited about getting this audio. It's probably the biggest breaking news story that we've ever had, and I'm just excited to drop it now before Mardi Gras. So here it is, Drew Brees calling the Saints and telling them he's going to be back, the official audio.
You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! The show goes on! This is my home! They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here! They're gonna need to send in the National Guard, a fucking SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere!
I really wish Drew Brees would say exactly that. Like, that would be something. That would really change my opinion.
What do you mean? That was him.
That was him, man.
That would really change my...
Are you saying that wasn't real? So, I mean, as it sort of sunk in that Drew Brees is coming back, and it wasn't that surprising, do you think, if I said to you, Dave, on a scale of 1 to 10, 2020 being Drew Brees' last year, what would you say it would be likely? 10 being it's a lock, 2020 is his last year, 0 being he's definitely coming back for 2021. What would you put it at?
I mean, realistically, I'd put it at a 5, but just me personally, my feeling is it's kind of low. It's like 1 or 2. Just, I mean, after this offseason, I'm surprised that he kind of took so long to think about it. This is the first time I remember him. I remember there being like, I think this is the first offseason we've ever had like a Drew Brees kind of like watch situation where it's like, is he going to retire? Isn't he going to retire? Media was talking about it. Media was saying that it's very likely he might retire. So, I just think that all of that kind of gives this season kind of that feel like it's his last season.
Andrew, do you?
But it's Drew Brees, and he could definitely assuming he has another good season like he did this past year. I see no reason why he couldn't play another season after this.
Andrew, I mean,
I would say, I would say 7 that he's retiring. I think he was pretty close this offseason. I mean, they were saying that he was considering it seriously. Now, I don't know how true that was. I am a little annoyed at myself because right when the season ended, we all kind of agreed that there's no way he's retiring. He's definitely coming back. I mean, we all said that, and we all believe that. And I allowed the media to cloud my judgment. And it's not that I ever was like, oh, he's retiring, but there were moments there where I was like, is he actually thinking about this? And so I'm a little annoyed at myself that I kind of deviated from the path of he's definitely coming back, because that's how I felt initially. So I'm glad he's back, but I really do think he takes it year to year now. And I think there's a big question about year to year. How close does he feel like the team is? I think that's a factor. How well does he feel like he's playing? I think that's a factor. And then I think really for the first time ever, he has kind of made it clear, I'm playing with the Saints and no one else. And so if they want me back, that's a factor, and I would consider coming back. But if they're not interested and they're moving on, then I'm calling it a day. That's kind of the sense I got from him this offseason. And I think a big reason why he is coming back is the Saints made it very clear, we want you back. We want to do this again. So, but to me, this feels like the swan song. Now, I could be wrong, but I would give it a 7.
I mean, the only thing that gives me pause is I have this thing that Dave said in the middle of last year when we were talking about it, when he was injured and when he came back and that sort of thing, is I think Drew Brees really, really cares about those records that he has, and he has them all, but he kind of wants to put them on lockdown for a while. So I feel like if he plays great and Brady, wherever he ends up playing, if Brady sort of rebounds and plays good again, and as long as Brady's going to keep playing, I think it pushes Drew Brees to play. I may be wrong about that, Dave, but that you sort of said that last year during the year, and that sort of sticks with me. I think Drew really he really cares about those records, man.
Yeah, he does. I definitely think he does. And Brady's out there, and as long as Brady's playing, I think I think there's at least a little something in the back of his mind that says he's got to keep up with that. He can't, he wants them all. He wants all the records he can get. And I don't blame him. I mean, like, you're already here. Like, you've gotten there. Like, it's so close. And again, if you can play, if you can still play at a good level, and you've got a coach like Sean Payton, and you've got a decent offensive line, you're not getting your ass kicked out there like some other quarterbacks around the league, then yeah, keep playing, keep padding the stats, and solidify yourself as arguably the greatest quarterback that's ever played the game.
Do you guys think this is it for Brady? I kind of think that this will be it, his last year.
I mean, he's a year older than Brees, so he's he's even further down the line.
This is my prediction on Brady.
And he doesn't play in a dome like everybody says about Drew, and that lets Drew. That's why Drew's stats are better, and that's why Drew can play so long, because Brady's got to play outdoors in the Northeast.
This is my prediction on Brady. Brady's gonna leave New England, and he's gonna regret it, because he's going to start a steep fucking decline. And the thing is, in New England, yeah, their fans are fucking spoiled rotten because they've been great for 20 years. But they would have stomached and accepted Brady's decline better than the team he's going to go to. Like, if when he goes to the Raiders and he suddenly turns really old and like the 23rd best quarterback, the Raider fans aren't going to be like, well, he's Tom Terrific and he got us 6 titles. We still love him. They're going to be like, dude, you're old and you suck. We hate you. And I think wherever he goes,
hope that happens. I mean,
what's that?
Hearing you just paint that picture is really like sending shivers down my spine. Like I literally I have goosebumps right now just hearing you say, like, play out that scenario. I want it to be true so bad.
I think it's gonna. I think that's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be one of those situations where it's not gonna change that he's the greatest of all time or anything, but it's just going to be one of those little footnotes where it's going to be like, oh yeah, and he went, you remember Tom Brady, he was on the Raiders for like a year and it was fucking terrible and it was awful. And
I do agree with you guys though. What's funny is Brees has said, I'm never going to let statistics dictate my decision. It's all about winning a championship, and he says that publicly. And so he would never admit it. He would never admit that the records matter, and he would never admit that whatever Tom Brady does affects what he would do. He would never admit either of those things publicly, but I do agree with you guys, it is a factor behind closed doors.
It does. I mean, the dude can recite Ted Williams' statistics. Like he cares a lot. He cares a lot about those things, and people care about what they care about. Dave, and I'm not going to say that I was one of these ridiculous Saints fans that hopped into my Twitter timeline and on Facebook and all this, and were like, I'm kind of sad that Drew Brees is staying because I wanted something different. I want to win in the playoffs. It's time to move it along. And I'm like, that's just stupidity. Top shelf stupidity. But I was just a little bit sad in the fact that Teddy Bridgewater the last 2 years has been immense fun. The dancing, the grabbing the camera and videotaping the game while it's going on, the 5-0 start. Like, I was a little bit sad that this is the end of the Teddy Bridgewater experience. And I'm just going to say right now, Teddy Bridgewater is a Hall of Fame Saints quarterback.
I mean, are you like talking about the literal Saints Hall of Fame, like where like where they give out the Joe Gamelli Award and they actually have real players that are in the Saints?
Billy Kilmer's in the fucking Saints Hall of Fame, and he won 11 games as a Saints starter in 3 years.
That's 6 more than Teddy.
But he played for 4 years. I'm just saying. Like, I mean, the Saints Hall of Fame, the bar ain't high, is what I'm saying. You know?
But modern day is very different from the barrier of entry that was the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Is Teddy Bridgewater, you have Brees, you have Aaron Brooks, you have Bobby Hebert.
Is John Fourcade in the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not.
Yeah,
Archie Manning. Can I make a case that
I don't think so.
Yeah, Brees,
He's not
Brooks,
getting in.
Hebert.
He'll live on in our hearts, Ralph. Okay, again, he'll live on in the.
He might get a picture in there. He might get a little kick-ass wing like Steve Gleason has.
Oh, he's gonna get a whole wing for that.
Maybe not a wing. Maybe like he might get like a door.
Is Teddy Bridgewater the 5th best quarterback in Saints history? You got Brees.
No.
Yes.
You got Aaron Brooks. You got Hebert. You got Archie. And then you got Bridgewater.
Jim Everett.
Jim Everett never won a game that mattered for the Saints. Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0 or a team that went 13-3.
Steve Walsh.
Well, Jim Everett's first year with the Saints was really good, though. I love Teddy Bridgewater so much, and the thing is, I'm really scared, Andrew. I was reading today. I'm really scared that he's going to go to Tampa because apparently Bruce Arians really likes him, and if he goes to Tampa, then he's dead to me, and I don't want that to happen.
No. Honestly, I would prefer he go to the Patriots.
You would prefer Teddy Bridgewater go to the Patriots?
Yeah, like I mean, I know it seems. I'm sure some Saints fans are puking as they hear this right now, but I just feel like if Tom Brady goes to Vegas or he goes to Tampa, then it's just much easier for me to despise Brady in Tampa. Like that just feels like a natural thing, and then I can be okay with Teddy being in the AFC. And yes, I hate the Patriots, but like. If the Patriots are now 9-7 because Tom Brady's gone, and the mystique and all that, and like they're just not what they used to be, and they're 9-7 with Teddy, like that to me feels like an easy thing to be like, I'm happy for him. I'm happy he has a winning record in New England. I don't know, because it would be like the other thing is the Patriots fans would be so pissed too. They'd be pissed. They'd hate him. So. Man. I don't know, that would feel okay to me.
Here's my doomsday scenario with Brady though.
I just don't want him in the NFC South.
Yeah,
And Carolina's a risk too.
Yeah, I think Carolina's going to draft a quarterback though. I think Carolina's they're picking top 10. They're going to draft one. But I was just thinking of this, Dave. If Brady goes to Vegas, then I'm 100% certain that Saints Raiders will be the opening game on Monday Night Football for the 9 o'clock game, and those tickets in Vegas will cost me the same as my mortgage for my house, and I can't I can't fucking have that because I want to go to that Saints-Raiders game in Vegas. But if I'm paying over $1,000 a ticket, that gives me pause.
I mean, it's definitely likely because, Brady and Brees are so old, so they definitely want to make sure they get that game on national TV early in the season before either of them their bodies break down, and the matchup it doesn't seem as enticing.
I mean, the Brady leaving New England thing is gaining a lot of steam, and I think there's a really strong chance. I mean, the media seems to feel like it's maybe not a foregone conclusion, but that it's more likely that he leaves than he stays, and that to me is just crazy.
Well, no, it was on that Adam Schefter podcast where he talked to Taysom Hill, which by the way, everybody, you should listen to that podcast with Taysom Hill. It's really the first time to hear him talk extendedly about being a quarterback and playing for the Saints. It was really interesting. But Jeff Darling,
he was also on Peter King's podcast too.
Yeah. So it was really interesting. What he had to say, and we'll get to that in a second. But I do agree with you, Andrew. I think there's a sense that Brady, for whatever reason, wants to leave. And I don't know whether Belichick wants to push him out the door or whatever, but there is this sense that he wants to leave, which is just, to me, is just stunning. Like, I mean, you look at what Brady's accomplished and what Brees has accomplished. I wonder why their decisions are so different in that Brees is like, I'm not leaving. I'm a Saint until they won't have me, and then I'm retired. Where Brady's like, yeah, I'm probably going to go. I'm probably going to leave the team that I've won 6 Super Bowls with and gone to the Super Bowl 8 times. Like, it's interesting to me, like, what has made him break from New England and what has made Brees just be connected to the Saints in a way that Brady isn't.
Well, don't forget, I mean, the Michael Thomas component. And, if the Patriots had Michael Thomas, I don't think Brady would be going anywhere. And I think that's a major source of the issue with the Patriots. And I mean, I'm not in the building, I don't know. But, it's reported that there's a weird dynamic between him and Belichick. But I really think a big source of it is that he's kind of played ball. And, his contract has usually been around 14th, 15th highest paid quarterback. So he hasn't been getting the massive contracts. He's been doing the team a solid to try to help them cap-wise get as much talent as they can get in the building because he cares about winning. And I just think how things went this year with Gronk retired and the receivers, and I think he was a little bit like, what the hell, guys? Like, I'm 40 years old now. I can't do this on my own. I can't turn water into wine. Stop giving me these trash receivers and start finding me guys. You use this money that you're not spending on me to find talent. And I think Brady's a little pissed that he's been doing them a solid money-wise, and they haven't been returning the favor by getting him talent. And so I think part of him's like, look, this year I'm going to go get paid as much as I can. I'm going to go have fun, and I'm going to go find an offense that actually has playmakers. So that's the thinking, and I kind of buy it. And, we think about Brees and everything, and I just think Brees, there's a lot of goodwill there because the Saints have been paying him, and he has gotten big contracts. And, if it hadn't been for landing guys like Kamara and Michael Thomas, young players that are dynamic, would Brees have aged as gracefully, or would he statistically kind of been like Tom Brady this past season?
Yeah.
If he didn't have Michael Thomas. So, we like to make it this fairy tale thing, but drafting Michael Thomas, in my opinion, was a huge deal to letting Brees kind of ride this out with the Saints.
Yeah, well, it's a great segue, Dave, to my next question in that, Andrew said New England hasn't really done maybe what Brady had hoped they would do. And we know that the Saints are always looking to do Loomis math, to go YOLO, to do whatever it takes within reason and sometimes beyond reason. And now, Drew Brees is signed. The number one domino that we needed to see fall into place.
Well, he's not signed.
He's not signed, but he's coming back, and we know it's going to come into place. So my question to you is, how YOLO are the Saints going to be willing to go in 2020 with Drew Brees coming back? Are they going to ramp it up even more?
So with Brees coming back, so they know they're set for this season. So I actually think Loomis may go YOLO, and look toward the next, toward the future, toward 2021, 2022, whatever. And actually, I don't know. It's actually happening right now. You don't even need to. This is Loomis is going YOLO as we speak, and we just don't even realize it. I think so. This is what's going to happen. This is what he's going to do. He's. I mean, you've seen them so far. The Saints, Peyton, the media. They've all been pumping up Taysom Hill. A lot of press around him lately, a lot of media. Seems kind of unusual to me. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's weird that Peyton just comes out and gushes over Taysom Hill like that. So it's had me.
I mean, Taysom Hill's gorgeous and he's awesome in every way. Why would you not gush over him?
I understand that, but that's still never been Peyton's MO. So this whole gushing about Taysom over the last few weeks has kind of made me a little uncomfortable and weird, and
you think he's setting up the trade, huh?
Inquisitive. So that's what I think. I think they want the offer. They're gonna let him walk. They're gonna take the first round pick. They're gonna bundle the 2 first round picks and plus maybe something else. Who knows? Maybe they sign Teddy Bridgewater in free agency. Bundle 2 first round picks and Teddy. Give that to somebody. Or give that to whoever. Cincinnati.
You're really going off the rails now.
We said YOLO. And
that is
listen,
YOLO.
I don't know if you know what YOLO stands for, but it stands for you only live once. Since I only live one time, I want to package 2 first-round picks plus Teddy Bridgewater and move up with the Cincinnati Bengals and get Joe Burrow.
If the Saints did what Dave just described, and let's say Taysom ends up in New England and the Saints have 23, 24, and they offer 23, 24, and 2021 first and a 2020 second, and they move up to get Joe Burrow. Andrew, it will make Reggie Bush getting picked and Ricky Williams getting picked like a 5th round selection at the draft party. They will burn
right now.
that fucking thing down.
Operation Burrow is in effect as we speak.
I just never thought I would see the day that Dave, diehard Tulane fan, anti-LSU as it comes, lobbying for this. How far have we come?
It's starting right now. Like, remember in Steven Spielberg's remake of War of the Worlds, and those machines, they made that sound that.
Who are you? I don't even know you anymore.
Remember that? Well, it's Sean Payton hyping up Taysom Hill. That's the sound. That's that sound. It's the forewarning of what's to come.
I mean, now Dave's watching iconic movies. He's rooting for LSU. He wants to trade up for players that went to LSU. This is bizarre world.
Somewhere Kevin just had a chest pain, and he's like, What is happening? I'm lightheaded. I need to sit down. Like, he doesn't understand what's going on. But I agree. I mean, that's an interesting take. I was thinking go the other way. And
it's not happening.
Where the Saints look to spend a ton in free agency, maybe move up to get a playmaker, a receiver, or whatever. But the thing that gives me pause is I didn't realize that if the players and the owners don't come to an agreement, the Saints will be frozen out of Loomis math, because you can't do contracts with voidable years because the CBA, it ends after this year. Right? So you can't do the Loomis special of voidable years and voidable years because 2021, 2022, 2023, as far as the NFL is concerned, they don't exist, so you can't make a contract for them. So you can't do all kinds of crazy stuff. So it really will get interesting in free agency as to what teams do with the cap shenanigans if the players and the owners don't come to an agreement. But, Andrew, I just got to feel like the Saints, man, like it'll be irresistible for them to go out and make a couple giant moves to go at it one last time with Brees.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, they don't have a left guard unless they're going to go with Nick Easton, and I don't think they should. So, left guard Joe Thuney, that to me would be the number one target that I would want. And then after that, they've got to get a receiver. But I think you can do that in the draft, and I think 24th overall is a great place to find a guy. And this draft is very heavy with receivers. So we've talked about that on some of our shorter podcasts that the patrons get. Which, by the way, if you donate $7 a month, then you have access to that. Shameless plug.
And by the way, we have created the single best piece of swag that we've ever done. Like, it blows the fucking koozie and the magnet and the 28-3 forever sticker. It blows all of it, and the t-shirt, it blows it all out the fucking water. The swag that we have coming that we'll announce in like a week or so.
And the koozie, I mean, don't speak ill of the koozie, because that's really saying something, because the koozie is awesome.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is.
I think you're building this up too much, Ralph.
I don't know, man. I love it. Maybe. But I'm excited about it. So anyway, but Andrew's right. People should donate. Starts at $7. You get a podcast every day. And I saw you people. Who was first? Drew Brees. He announced he was coming back. What podcast was first? It was us. Andrew was actually having to do work. Dave came in and pinch hit. And we had the podcast up like 35 minutes after Drew Brees announced. Nobody else did that. Us.
I was on my kids' field trip at the farmers market.
That's our commitment to you.
That is. I mean, that's how our commitment is. So, listen. Before we get to questions from people, I wanted to play a fun game that I thought would be interesting and fun. I like to call it 2021 Saint or 2021 XFL Star. And so Dave and Andrew, I'm gonna name players on the
Where's
Saints.
the music? You don't have any music?
I didn't have any music. I didn't think of any.
Jesus
music.
Christ.
So I'm gonna name a Saints player, and you tell me if they are a 2021 Saint or they are a 2021 XFL Star.
Oh my God. If you don't ask me about little Jordan Humphrey, then you have totally failed as a fucking host for this podcast.
That was my first one, Dave. Little Jordan Humphrey. 2021 Saint or 2021 XFL Star?
Little Jordan, I hate to say it, but probably XFL Star.
Andrew Saquon Hampton. 2021 Saint or 2021 XFL Star?
I'm going to say he makes the team. I'm going to say he's on the Saints in 2021. He'll be a backup safety and a special teams guy.
This is not next year. This is 2 years. They have to stay on the team for 2 years.
Oh, right. XFL.
Dave, Krishan Hogan.
XFL.
Let's see. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Taylor Stallworth, Andrew.
XFL.
I would have said Saints.
I'm going to take this one. Jason Vanderlaan. He's going to be a Saints Hall of Famer, because if I say anything bad about him, his family comes to get me.
He's getting in the same year as Teddy Bridgewater. They're going to be in the same Saints Hall of Fame class.
Andrew, camp superstar from 2019, Emmanuel Butler.
Trick question, neither. He will be cut by an XFL opening day roster team. Like he'll get cut in camp of XFL
after being a camp superstar in the XFL.
Yeah. He'll be a camp superstar yet again this year. Saints fans will be ready to write him in for 50 catches, but he'll get cut again. He'll make it on the practice squad, only to get cut from that 6 weeks into the season, and then he'll get cut from the XFL.
Dave,
Trick question, neither.
Keith Kirkwood, Dave.
Oh, he's like going to be our number 2 receiver. He's definitely on the team.
Andrew, Austin Carr.
That's our number 3 receiver.
He's gonna be a 2021 Las Vegas Raider.
Now you're just going through the starting lineup, Ralph.
I feel like Austin Carr, if I could bet a week's pay on him having 85 catches in the XFL in 2021, I would. Here's a good one, Dave. Cameron Tom.
That is a good one. I'm gonna say Saints roster. He'll be on the roster. The music, by the way, makes this way better.
Yeah. Patrick Omame. Andrew.
Out of both leagues.
Omame.
That'll wrap it up. The final one. This is an interesting one.
Did you ask Andrew Granderson?
He doesn't need to. He knows the answer.
Granderson is a lock to be either starting for the Saints.
2021, he'll be a double-digit sacks by then.
He'll either be a double-digit sack guy or he'll be in a
Saints
state penitentiary somewhere.
player.
Yes, that's right. He'll be the first ever.
Granderson's either going to the Pro Bowl or he's going back to lockup. Like there's no in between for him. Final one, Dave. Dwayne Washington.
No. Neither roster.
All right. So let's get to one last thing before we get to Twitter questions, and this is a fun question. Since it's Mardi Gras season, happy Mardi Gras, everybody. I know it's been rough times in New Orleans with some tragedies and stuff, but it's still Mardi Gras, and we'll try to have a good time. But here's the thing.
Has been bizarre.
It is. Mardi Gras is just, it's bizarre and very strange. But here's my question. If we had a Saints parade and it was 100% Saints themed, what would be the first float in the parade? Would it be making fun of the Falcons blowing a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl?
28-3. Bryant knocks it through. Arthur Blank loving it. Up by 25.
Would it be that, Dave, or would it be making fun of the refs for screwing the Saints out of a Super Bowl appearance in 2018?
First of all, you saw Darren Ravel tweet that float from Tux with the ref for the no call. My buddy, a couple of my friends were on that float. So they were get dressed up as refs, and Underhill tweeted back at him, and a bunch of people told
Underhill becoming 100% New Orleans native is just fantastic. He's like, it's like Venom has infected his body. If Venom was New Orleans, and Nick is one of us now. He's just banging on Ravel.
Yeah, well, that's the way it happens. You fall in love with, you get bit by the bug. You either love it or you hate it, and he loves it. But anyway, to answer your question, let's see. So is it either going to be a fuck the refs or is it going to be a fuck the Falcons? The answer is actually C, none of the above. It's going to be a fuck Goodell.
I love it. Andrew, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I really want the second float to be a throwback to Kyle Turley chucking the helmet, though. I'm going old school there, but I just feel like Mardi Gras is all about celebrating ridiculousness. And when I think back to what are the most ridiculous things I've ever seen, I mean, this cell phone celebration thing with Horn and then Michael Thomas copying it years later as a tribute, that's pretty good too. But I think if you're going to have a Saints parade where, different moments in history are, you kind of give kudos to those moments. To me, the Kyle Turley helmet toss and the cell phone celebration thing, they both have to be on there.
I mean, you don't really need to have a special. I mean, Mardi Gras parades already are pretty much Saints parades. We already have fuck the ref floats and fuck Goodell floats and fuck the Falcons floats. I mean,
yeah.
Who would be if we had a Saints 100% Saints themed parade? Who would be like the Grand Marshal and who would be King? I'm thinking Grand Marshal is got to be
Steve Gleason. Boom, done.
What about Tracy Porter? Do you make
Steve Gleason?
Steve Gleason. Who's king? Who's king of the Saints? Or would Steve Gleason be the king? Would you make Steve Gleason the king and then like Tracy Porter the Grand Marshal.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I don't know.
That
I don't
feels
know
good.
why. I mean, I know why you're saying Tracy Porter gets up there, but like he's higher. He's higher up than like Brees or Peyton or somebody.
Yeah, I feel like
Well, Taysom Hill is highest of all. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah. What are you guys doing? No, the king, the person that's king is somebody that who you think would look best in like a wig and tights. You know, like that's gonna look like one of those page boys or whatever.
I have to say Cam Jordan at the parades today, riding around in like a Barker Lounger was just fantastic. I don't know.
My friends took a picture with him yesterday on St. Charles. He was just down on St. Charles Avenue.
With who? Sorry.
Cam Jordan.
Okay.
Here's a fun question from Eric. Other than Kamara, which Saints player do you think would be the most fun to party with at Mardi Gras?
To party with. Interesting question.
I mean, I think Kamara's a good choice.
Who?
Alvin Kamara.
Oh.
I still think we talked about this the other day. I think you got to go with the fat guys because it's the fat guys that don't care about what they put in their body and what kind of health habits they have. Like, I remember listening to this podcast with Thomas Morstead where he basically said, like, yeah, I love the Irish Italian parade, so I'll get hammered then, and I'll maybe party a little bit in the off season, but for the most part, like once the season starts, I may have like one beer after a big win or something, but like I'm not drinking at all. And so like I just think if you talk about Brees, Michael Thomas tweeted like a week ago complaining about how it's so hard to eat healthy food in New Orleans. Like it's the off season and he's already obsessing about eating properly out of just around town in New Orleans. And so I just think if you think about the skill positions, none of those guys are going to be that fun. Like they want to take care of their bodies and be professionals. I really think it's the fat guys. So I would say like Larry Warford, Teron Armstead. To me, those are the guys you want to hang out with.
I feel like Shy Tuttle, if people knew who he was, you just get a ton of free food because everywhere he would go, people would just be like,
Oh, interception! Matt Ryan! Oh mein Gott! Wie eine Puppe gibt er ihn den Stiffer ab und er fliegt auf den Boden. Hör doch mal auf.
I feel like he'd be.
I was gonna say Shy Tuttle because sometimes it gets crowded. You're at a parade, or if you're downtown in the quarter, and it gets crowded. So I would want Shy Tuttle around so he can just stiff arm people and get them the fuck away from me, and I can be free to do whatever I need to do.
I will say this:
that German call just never gets old.
Reminder.
It really. It's awful.
What did he say? He shook him around like a puppet. Is that what it says?
Yeah. Head off my off.
We have 32 people entered into our raffle for Shy Tuttle socks that Dave is going to make if you send us evidence that you use the Patreon custom RSS feed, and people are pumped and excited about the socks. And some people are like, I've been using that custom RSS feed from day one. Do I get extra entries? No, you don't, but we appreciate you using it. But people, like I said, get in. We got 2 more weeks for you to get in. Send us evidence that you use the custom RSS feed. Do it by Twitter or send us an email at saintshappyhour@gmail.com. Send us evidence that you're using the custom RSS feed. You get entered into the raffle.
Yeah, little programming note too. Now that it's the off season, we will be doing our shows on Sunday nights moving forward. So if you missed the live chat tonight, we will no longer be doing shows on Mondays. We're going to switch to Sundays. I mean, we may have changes here or there in the off season based on scheduling, but for the most part, we'll be committing to Sunday nights more often than Mondays.
And
now that the Saints line.
And we may do some shows, the big show during the week for smaller. Like if the Saints have major news during free agency, do something totally insane. We may get the band back together for like a Wednesday or a Thursday, depending on the opening days of free agency. Taylor asks, how bad is the king cake I ordered at the bakery in Connecticut gonna be?
Oh my God! Wait, what?
Wait,
Do
why
they
would you do that?
do they live in Connecticut? They
I
don't live in
mean-
New Orleans and ordered a king cake to be shipped from Connecticut, did they? Oh
I
my God!
Yeah,
went
where
to
is
a
Taylor from? That's the first question.
Get some fucking dong fong in your life, man.
I went when I lived in
I
Orange
get them.
County.
I get them mailed from Haydell's, and it's $50. I live in Virginia. You can get them mailed. I'm sure you can get them mailed to Connecticut for $50. Now that is pricey.
That includes
But-
shipping, right?
That includes shipping and everything. It's just $50, and it is expensive for a king cake. But I just feel like whatever garbage you're about to get from that store in Connecticut, it's
You're
worth
gonna-
the extra money.
You're gonna be getting cardboard with sandpaper dust sprinkles on it, probably.
I could tell you worse. When I lived in Orange County, they had a bakery in my neighborhood, and they said, "Oh, we're doing a special fun king cake." And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. I'll order one and get it for work, and I'll bring it for work." You know what their fucking king cake was? It was a fucking cheese Danish with blue and yellow icing. I was like,
That was this is Orange County, so was that the Golden State Warriors king cake?
No.
So,
It might as well been. But I was like, this is a fucking abomination. And I'm not even like a hardcore Mardi Gras person. Like, almost anything would have been good enough for me. But the cheese Danish is not.
this is now Ralph is complaining, and yet like honey bourbon and Diet Coke is his drink of choice.
Well, yeah, but that's different. I mean, I'm just a degenerate, and I like flavored whiskeys. Like, if
I'm just saying, if you pour corn syrup on something, there's a good chance Ralph is gonna like it. So it must be really bad.
tough but fair.
Yeah, this whole time we've been
like,
making
if you
fun of me and my
if you
sugar
gave me
addiction.
flavored if you were like, "Hey, Ralph, I got this flavored bourbon for you," and you handed me a thing of Jack Daniels and like a packet of cinnamon, I'd be like, "This is bullshit." You know, like, you gotta at least put a little bit of effort in it. Is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
see the difference, Dave, is that Ralph consumes his sugar in liquid form. You know, you're more of a candy guy. He's more of a liquid sugar guy.
Mhm.
So I feel like there's a target market here. Ralph is, I feel like there's some company out there that should be soliciting Ralph's support by making like a king cake alcoholic drink.
Well, where the hell are my free samples of Sour Patch Kids? When is that train coming into
King
the
Cake
station?
Vodka, you could be a sponsor on this podcast.
I don't
Right.
think that's as good as probably it sounds.
It's okay.
Isn't
You've
it?
had
thing?
it?
Isn't
Yeah.
it a thing?
Of course.
Yeah, there's King Cake vodka for sure.
King Cake. Yeah, of course. Like, if there's a flavored alcohol out there and it gets put in front of me, I will consume it.
Oh, by the way, Ralph, play the breaking news. By the way,
Oh.
breaking news. Tomorrow might be the night that I go to Olive Garden.
Oh.
Wait, that's happening tonight?
No, tomorrow night.
Oh wow.
I
Is
go.
the tour of
You
Italy on the
need video.
agenda?
The most important thing is that you get video of the
Live tweet it.
breadsticks being finished, and then your waiter coming back and saying, "Hey, would you like another round of breadsticks?" And you saying, "Yes,
I will.
I absolutely would."
I'll live tweet my experience on the podcast Twitter account.
I want you to demand a second round of breadsticks, and then I need video evidence of you consuming them.
Somebody emailed me the nicest thing last week because I clipped the how to spend $5 billion to steal the Saints another Super Bowl. I clipped it and made it its own separate mini podcast of like 25 minutes. Somebody emailed and said that was the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever listened to, and it's made me dumber for having listened to it. They quoted the Billy Madison line, and it made me so happy.
Wait, was that a compliment though?
No, I
I
don't think it was a compliment. They stumbled on to it, but it still made me happy because it was the most on-brand thing that we've done.
But
in a while.
Are they going to listen to the next show to see what we do next?
Maybe.
Because that's what's important.
I mean, listen.
Because if they do, we got you, motherfucker.
we got them hooked in. They listen, they hate it, then they listen,
Right.
and they don't hate it. Then they listen, they like it. Then they listen, they donate. So it's really like a 4-step show process to getting them to pay us money. So, and oh, by the way, we're cooking up something for the fall that's just great.
I don't even know what they're talking about.
The final thing I want to talk about before we get out of here, and we talked about free agency. We won't talk about the draft necessarily.
Pelicans won, by the way.
That's what I wanted to talk about. The Pelicans win. So my question to you is, if the Pelicans make the playoffs, Andrew, and get to the 8th seed, would that supersede the Saints fans' excitement for the draft? Not forever, but just for this year. Would fans be more excited about the Pelicans in the playoffs than the Saints draft because they kind of overlap at the same time?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so because I think cold water would get thrown on that pretty quick when Anthony Davis and LeBron just own them, and I think it made worse by the fact that it's like no one in New Orleans is going to want to watch Anthony Davis, own the Pelicans. So I hope they make the playoffs. I really do, because it'd be great for Zion to get that experience in year one. So for them to make that run and get in would be incredible considering where they are now. But they have a shot, and it would be great to see them do that. But yeah, I think how that series goes, I think fans are going to turn to the draft pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a wrap, guys. And listen, what's the date today? Is today the 23rd? Today's the 23rd.
Yes.
So we are only. Is this a leap year, Dave? Are we in a leap year?
Yes.
So we got 29 days in February. So we are 6 and 8. We are 23 days away from free agent madness in the NFL. And I really think, and Dave or Andrew, jump in if you think I'm wrong, but I really think
you're wrong.
Probably like March 1st-ish, you're going to start to see the Saints do some stuff, either extend some guys or do cap shenanigans with players to try to create more space and get stuff done. So I think we're about a week away from having real Saints news and me being able to play the breaking news siren and it not be Dave announced that he will be eating at all.
Maybe eating at Olive Garden tomorrow. We'll see. It's Lundi Gras. I gotta make sure there's no more parades out in Kenner.
I still gotta do 2 IPAs. I guess I need to live tweet that next time I do it.
I gotta.
And Ralph, what do you have to do? You gotta put cat food in your hair or something?
No, I have to say something nice about Les East.
Oh yeah, you have to tweet that. Right?
That was the best one. I forgot about that.
You have to tag him, right?
Yeah, I have to tag him. The thing is, though, the funny thing was I was all prepared to go 11-5, and I got excited and went 14-2, and I actually came the closest of everyone when I went off the rails and predicted 14-2. You only need to tweet once. Yeah, it looked pretty. It looked really bleak when Drew Brees got hurt and they were 1-1. I thought I was gonna have to write a love poem to Les East at that point. But we'll get that done. So anyway, thanks to everybody in the chat room. Thanks for joining us on this pre-Mardi Gras show. We appreciate you guys. And again, listen to the show, become a patron. You get the show every week. We got breaking news. We got all that for you. So we appreciate you guys. It's going to be fun. The Saints are going to have, the stuff's going to pick up soon. But we had ridiculous tonight. We grind every week where other podcasts take a break or whatever. Not us. We will give you great product like we gave you last week. And we'll give you this show, which was, we were here. So for Andrew, for Dave, I'm Ralph.
I'm
Until next week, the bar